are 7 features in particular that we're going to cover. The first one I want to go over is the dispatch board detail page and add order screen financial snapshots. Really, what does that mean? So if you guys look at my screen right now, I am within the dispatch board, and as you can see to the right, we have the earnings column. And this can be done both on the trip and the order side. So what this is going to show you is, if I'm on the trip side, this is going to be on top, how much am I making payments to either my drivers or my carriers. It's also going to show you the order rate, so how much the customer is paying you, and then it's going to break down the order or the trip with the rate per mile. So it's going to look at within the rate sheet when you guys actually added the rates. The system can either calculate what the miles are based on the engine that you use, whether it's Google, PC Mile, or Pro Miles. And then it's going to take that and divide it by the distance, the rate by the distance, and show you the RPM. So as you can see, this one I hovered over, the trip is 196, RPM is 88 cents, and the order is $1,000, RPM $4.47. And like we had before, but we just added to it, you have the margins. So it's going to show you whether you are profitable or not within this load. Now, if I open up the details screen, I'm going to show you a couple more places that you can see this information. At the top of the load, you can see I have the RPM and also the margins. If I scroll down and click on edit driver rate, on the top right, it's going to show me what the rate on the trip is, and also the RPMs and the customer rate as well. Another place that you can see this information is if I'm doing add order screen. We select our customer. In this case, I'm going to copy from template, so we have some information. And as you can see, the moment we enter the pricing information, distances, all the information that's pertinent to calculate this information, at the bottom of the summary tab in the add order screen, it's going to tell me the rate total, the distance based on what's entered in this field right here, and also the RPM. So the reason for this was to allow you guys to quickly see when I'm entering the orders or when I'm adding a carrier or a driver. Yes, I have the flat rate, but how much am I paying them per mile? So this can be done for spot rates, it can be done by contracts, EDI, API integrations, doesn't really matter. As long as we suck that data in, we put it into the system, you'll be able to see that information. So that was feature number 1 as far as being able to see better financial snapshots within the system. Now, the next one is we're going to look at the fleet trailer maps. So one big development that we had in the past month was we went in and created an entire separate fleet map for you guys to be able to track your trailers. So as you can see, I opened up the menu, I went to fleet, trailer, and then within there, I can click on map. So within the map, I'm going to go over all the features. It's really not that complicated, but it's extremely powerful. It can be utilized for things like trailer tracking, trailer pool management. If you guys are going to work with a customer and let's say you need to manage their trailers as well, you'll be able to import them, connect them with GPS units, and look at them across the board on this fleet map. So first thing we have is we can scroll in, obviously, see the trailer, click on it, and it's going to show me exactly all the information about that trailer, which level it's a part of, where's the last known location, the date and time. And if I click on this number, it's going to physically take me into that trailer's profile. So that way, as you guys know, we can go in and start looking at all the details about that trailer. Now at the top, you can see the first option is to cluster the locations. So if I really zoom out, you can see it tells me there's 3 locations or 3 trailers inside here. And if I zoom in, it's going to show me exactly which trailers are clustered around that region. Next, what I can do is click on turn on geofence zones location. So you can upload your geofences and have the system notify you and also keep track of when did the trailer enter that location and leave that location. As you can see, I have a bunch of different zones over here in circles. So if I click on this number 1, this is called my UPS Atlanta facility. Currently, I have this trailer number from Soybean Expedited. And if I click on history, obviously this is going to be test data, but it would tell you the exact track that trailer has taken in the last 6 months. So if I would scroll out, it would show me the lines of all of the movements and all of the updates that I received about the trailer. Again, if I want to see more details, I'll be able to go in, select one of these trailers, go into the profile, and there is a section called trailer tracking. And all this will do is show you the full history on the movement of that trailer. And as you can see, if it had entered a specific geofence, it'll tell you that it arrived at that geofence location at this date and time. Now, to get the best tracking data about these trailers, we always highly recommend utilizing specific trailer GPS units. So that can mean Skybits, Keep Truckin', Samsara. We have Orbcom at this time as well, and a few other ones. So whoever you're getting the trailers from, either you own them or you lease them, you have different GPS units available, not a problem. We'll be able to connect all of them and pull the last known location. Now, the next option is geolocation type. So you'll be able to basically filter out, is this my location or my customer's location? So it's basically a filter on the geofences, so that way you'll be able to know exactly which geofences I'm looking at. The next is division name. So I'll be able to go in and say, show me specifically all of the trailers that are part of this specific division. And once I click on it, it just filters them out. So if you have multiple companies, multiple working divisions, whatever it may be within the branch system, it allows you to easily filter out and see specifically the trailers that you need to look at. Now, this one is very important and works really well to show you the utilization of your trailers. What I mean by that was, has the trailer been sitting idling for less than a day, more than 7 days, 4 to 6 days, 1 to 3 days. And if I click on it, it'll filter out. If I say 7 days or more, here's all the trailers that either have been sitting there not being utilized, or the GPS unit is not working and we're not receiving the last known location. And how do you do that? You just click on it and see it. Okay, the last update I received was on January 12th, so maybe there's something wrong with that GPS unit. Or genuinely, maybe it's been sitting there for the past 2 months doing nothing. And of course, we have the nice trailer ID, so you'll be able to go in, type in the trailer number, and find it specifically within the map. Now, this is not part of this release, but I do want to show it to you. Within the trailer list, we also have a dashboard. Again, this is everything dealing with trailer management, trailer pool management, to be able to see exactly what's happening with my trailers. So it'll tell you how many available trailers do you have. So if you remember in the trailers profile, you can mark them as available, not available, which ones are in service, how many are out of service, average trailer idle time. So average right now, it's telling me my trailers are sitting not being utilized for 50 days, which is a huge problem, obviously. You could also do inspections through the mobile app. So how many inspections have been completed, average inspection time, how many issues were found in those inspections, and how long on average does it take for my maintenance team or outside maintenance team to close out that specific issue. Now, if we scroll down, you can see this is trailers by location. So again, those geofences, it's going to show you, okay, you have one trailer at this location, one here, one here, one here, and 13 that are currently, let's say, on the road, not within one of the geofences that you have set up. So again, it allows you to really hone in and see exactly where your trailers are. And if you open it up by expanding it, you'll be able to get a list of your trailers. Again, opening up to see the details of that trailer profile. And if needed, you can click on Generate Excel and it's going to spit out a nice Excel sheet. So that way you'll be able to do some analytics about that outside of the system. Trailer by idle time, it's going to say that from 7 days onward, I have 8 trailers. And then down below, you have in and out of service trailers. Currently, I don't have any data inside here, but it's basically going to show you that for the past 7 days, this is how many trailers got in and out of service. On the right side, you can also say trailers by carrier if you're doing outside trailer management. So it's going to show you by division how many trailers are currently at each division level. Inside here, if you guys start uploading issues by the vendor, who's the vendor actually taking care of the issues, and then opened issues by priority. If I switch over to another account, I'll actually be able to show you what that looks like, I believe. Oh no, unfortunately, since I don't have live data inside here, but it's a simple pie chart that will show you exactly how many issues are by vendor and by priority. So that was number 2. We talked about the fleet trailer management. And if you guys want to add any of those geofence locations, all you have to do is open up the menu inside the system, go to fleet, and then all the way at the bottom, you have geofence location. So these are all the geofences that I set up. If you want to add a new one, you simply click create location, you'll type the name, you'll put in the address information and what radius do you want for that geofence. And once you submit, that's all you need to do. And now the trailers will be going in and out of those geofences. You'll get the list. You'll even be able to go in, click on the eye icon to the left and be able to see the same thing that we saw in the trailer map. Now, next thing that we have is with issue management. I'm going to switch over to my other account. So within the trucks and trailer profiles, I'm going to show you a nice little example. I went to my fleet truck list. I'm going to open up one of my trucks, and inside here we can upload issues. So these issues can be uploaded by system users or also by drivers through the mobile app. So if I click on add issue, it allows me to enter the summary about that issue. System will generate an issue ID, which is basically a unique identifier for that issue, so that way you can easily find them. You can select what kind of issue is it. Let's say it's body damage, right? But then we can add a subtype. Now this subtype is really driven by what information do you want to keep about it or how do you want to report about it. So the way I did it on my end and what we've done with other clients when we implemented it within the past couple of weeks was saying, who caused this issue? Was it caused by the driver, by the receiver, by the shipper? You could even add an option by another carrier. So it allows you to easily be able to select that and also run a report on it. And then of course with issues, you can assign them to a specific user that needs to take care of it. What's the priority? Add a description about it, uploading the files. And then if you already know who the vendor is that's going to fix this issue, we'll be able to say it's Sammy oil change and add a location for that issue. So I'm going to say this was body damage, click submit. And then once the issue is created, if I click on edit, it allows me to go in and change any information that we entered, but also upload documentation and look at the service vendor information. For the issues, we can add work orders if that's something you guys are interested. So if I go to my work order list, these are all my work orders. If I go to a specific unit ID, let's actually go to another one. Give me 1 second. I'll say this trailer. So we had all of these issues, and then I can go to a work order and say create a work order. It's going to simply generate a work order number. I can select again the service vendor that's going to do the job, who it's assigned to, the due date, expected completed date, and then assign the issues to it. You can assign one or multiple issues. And once it's created, very similar to the issues, I'll be able to go in and change the status of that work order, if it's in progress or not. If I say that it is in progress, it'll automatically change the status of all the issues assigned to that work order. And then also on the right side, I can manage things like cost, invoices, estimates, add notes, and documents. Now, this is very important because it allows you to compare, okay, the shop told me it's going to cost $500, but then they came back with $1,000. What was the difference between the estimate and the actual cost? So inside here, if I click add, I can say it's an estimate for this specific issue. I can add an estimate number, date, description, and then add in the labor information, the name, the cost, the quantity, parts, and fees as well. And all this information is reportable. So if I go into my fleet management screen, I'll be able to say, show me a list of all my issues. Similar to the different list screens, we can create different reports and be able to look at them. And same thing, if I go back to the menu in fleet, I have the work order screen and see a list of all my work orders. So that is the updates that we did when it comes to issues and work order management within the fleet section. Now, going further on the fleet section, as I mentioned, you can do inspections through the mobile app. If you guys have not set those up, please again reach out to your implementer or customer service agent. But with the inspections, if I click on the fleet within the menu and then inspection, you can see these are the list of all the inspections that have been started or completed by my drivers, right? It can be either for my truck or my trailer. And as you can see, we added new information saying that this was created by this driver, John Portman. And just to give you a nice little preview, if you have not utilized inspections, drivers will start the inspection, let's say before a pickup, you can make it required. And as they're going through the steps, You build out the process saying that you need to check this part on the front of the truck, this on the side, on the back, so on and so forth. Or you just make it a list to say, check the oil level, the ABS light. And as you can see, it told me that the windshield passed and the lights passed as well. And if there was any issue or you required them to take a picture, these pictures are live, meaning they cannot utilize the gallery in their phone. They have to take a live picture, and it'll also do a nice little timestamp for you. So that way you'll be able to take that and review it with the driver. You could also connect it that it automatically generates an issue, contacts the safety and maintenance team, and thus they'll be able to take it, contact the driver, figure out when they're going to do the maintenance depending on the severity, right? And do the work orders and process all of that information. So you can see we have all the sections of the truck. Now we're going to do a little pivot to the invoicing section of the system. So within the master invoices, we did a couple of updates. So I'm going to go to my invoices section within the menu and master invoice. As you can see, we now added an edit tool. And once I click on that, it's going to take me to a brand new screen. We're adding a lot more options inside here, so keep an eye out in the next couple of releases. We're also going to have a lot more capabilities where you can mark the invoice as ready to go. You can have it, the ops have to do it. There's going to be a lot more stuff with the document management, but for now we'll just go over kind of the main functions that are part of the master invoice updates. It looks very similar to the payroll screen because at the end of the day, this is financials. In this case, we're just doing the billing side. So we broke it up that you have all the information as far as dates, invoice number, master invoice number, comments, things like that. It's going to have a middle box that shows you overall kind of a financial snapshot, what the additional charges were, total charges, gross totals, things like that. But now we added a document section. So anytime you generate a document from the system, you'll be able to see the full history of the documents and also preview them directly inside the TMS without having to download them, right? So this is a master invoice that I generated before. Down below, if for whatever reason you're working with a customer where you're doing batch invoicing with them and you need to add an additional charge that is not pertinent to one of the loads, but it is just overall for that billing period, you'll be able to click on add charge, select the name of the charge, add a rates, quantity, and then add any comments as necessary. And of course, you can have those printed out in the documents. Payment info. Once this master invoice has been paid, whether it's through a factoring company direct from the customer, you'll be able to apply GL code, payment date, check number, check amount, deposited date, things like that. Now, this is where it gets really fun. If I click on the orders tab, now you'll be able to see the full list of orders directly from the master invoice without having to go in and find those orders randomly, right? Looks like when this one has a lot, let me select a smaller master invoice. Oh, looks like it doesn't want to cooperate. Maybe they are doing the release right now. Ooh, give me 1 second, guys. There we go. So we have a list of our orders. It tells you all the information as far as the order number, totals, statuses, event information, the truck and trailer that was assigned to it. I can expand it to see this little card that I'm sure you guys have been aware of. It'll tell you which documents are missing. You can edit the invoice, remove the invoice from the screen or from this master invoice. But if I click on this little squiggly line, it will open up the detail page of that order. So that way I can review it directly from the master invoice detail screen without losing my work or the screen that I was working on. So that's the new screen that we developed. Again, look out for the next couple of weeks. We will have some new updates inside here. Next is for reporting. We added the analytics. If we go into Trip and we have our pivot tables, what we allowed you to do is if you utilize dispatching groups, you'll be able to add those. So what I mean by it, if we click edit report and we select primary driver, dispatching group, we click use. And now if I go to my fields, we got dispatching group. I'm going to move it to the top, apply it. You can see I have my Amous dispatching team, intermodal team, line haul nights, local Las Vegas drivers, so on and so forth. So it breaks it up. If you guys are using dispatching groups where there's multiple dispatchers to multiple drivers, when you run reports, you can see how does this team compare to this team, to this other team? How are they behaving? Are they doing well or not? And last one from the release number 3.41 is we added 2 new integrations. Both are ELD. It's Maestral ELD and Sparkle ELD. So if you guys want to utilize those integrations, again, just reach out to your implementer and they'll be able to set you up with what the API keys you need to get, external IDs, and make those connections. So we're at about the halfway mark, which is good timing. We're going to start with the next release, which is 3.42. 3.42 did have a release of a brand new feature that we call the available drivers. This is extremely useful if you're managing a fleet and you want to know, have I covered all my drivers or all of my trucks? So this is driven by the user permission. So within your user permission, make sure that you go in and allow available drivers to be seen and utilized. And when you open up the menu, you'll see it right underneath the driver cards called available drivers. So what I'm going to switch over is the all drivers screen. This is specifically what we said is built for the fleets. And as you can see, we have a nice list of all of our drivers. First thing that you can do is click on edit view. What this allows you is to go in and move the different fields around depending on what you want to see first. If you don't want to see a specific field, just remove the checkmark box. And if I click save, it removes them, right? Very simple. And each user, depending on how they set up this visibility, it'll change for them, right? I'm going to move the status up and click save. Now, the information that we see is the driver, the truck that they're assigned to. If you have teams, you can click on show teams and it will have the information about the team right underneath the driver name. It'll tell you the status of that driver and truck. So currently all my fleet is available, so I need to cover them. Future availability location, this will update as you're going to be assigning them to the load. So if I have a load that's going to deliver in 2 days in Chicago, Illinois, it'll tell me the future availability is in 2 days in Chicago. It'll tell you who reserved that truck, who the dispatcher is, if they're part of a dispatching group, the next stop, the rate that they're currently on, truck dimensions, any notes you want to keep about them. So I can say he's currently sick, and the last known locations. To the right, you can see that we have nice little note screens. So these notes are completely separate from what you see in the trips and the orders. It allows you just to keep notes on this available driver screen. And if you want to book a driver on a load, you can either click create order, go through the process and assign a driver, right? Or we can click on search loads if you have loads already inside the system and say assign them to the driver. So let me go back a little bit. Currently no loads unassigned, but again, if you enter loads into the account, you have a list of loads, you'll be able to go in, say, okay, I need a driver in Chicago with a radius of this amount on this date, click search, and it'll find the loads. But for now, I'm gonna go through the manual process just so you guys can see how it changes as you add the driver. I'm gonna copy from the template. We're gonna go pickup is happening on this date. And the drop is happening, let's say on this date, at this time. We have the pricing, and I'm gonna go trip pricing, add driver rates, John Portman, click submit. Oh, let me just remove a charge really quick. Fuel submit, there we go. And we're adding webhooks in the process. Like I said, this is a brand new feature where it would automatically update the screen. But as you can see, the status of this driver has changed, that he is now assigned to this load with the status rated. I can click on the load number and see the details about the load. And you can see the future availability location has automatically updated to say he's going to be in Ringo, Georgia at this date and time. So again, very useful tool. Instead of just looking from the calendar view of the driver cards, it allows you to see just a simple list of all my fleet. Now, the next release will allow you to sort all of these fields and search by them. So keep an eye out on that. For now, it's just based on the driver's name, but later on you'll be able to similarly, in like the dispatch board, go in and filter these out. Now, this one next tool that we released is a very simple one, but a lot of people asked about it, so we did add it. It's the last login date for a user. So if I go into my menu, my views and user list, click on edit report, click add field, I can type in last login date. I'm just going to click use for now, and there we go. It tells me the last time that user logged in, the date and time. If you need to do a specific report on filters, you'll be able to say, okay, last login date between this date range. So again, it just allows you to monitor, are all your users inside the system actually using it and logging in it. Now, the next list on the list is EDIs. So with the EDI, if you guys are utilizing that functionality, what we allowed you to do now is before you even create the order, go in and run a report on the first and last location of that load. So what I mean by that is if I go to my dispatch board, click on EDI, on the top right, edit report, right? And I'm going to select which fields I want to see about the EDIs that are coming in. If I go to the drop-down list on one of the fields and scroll down, I have order first event early date, location, address, city, state, and last event early date, location, address, city, and state. So you'll be able to see all the information about the order again before you fully process the load, the 204 that you received directly from this screen. A lot of customers were asking about this because they would simply be able to see the load number within the list of the EDIs. They wouldn't know which load it actually is or what's going on with it, so they'd have to open up two separate screens. Not a problem. You can now see exactly which load you are working with. Now, the next one, really fun, is we have driver expense and truck and trailer maintenance AI uploads. So again, if you guys want to use AI within the system, there's a couple places you can do it. The first step is create order. So I can go in and select a customer, go to the rate confirmation, upload the confirmation document. I'll just do a nice little demo for you guys while we're here. So upload the document. There you go. And the system will read it. We're connected with OpenAI, the same creators of ChatGPT. It reads the full document and adds it into the pickup and drop locations, pricing, special instructions, things like that. And what we're going to see the functionality inside here is slowly getting infused into other parts of the system whenever you have to upload a document. So the ones I mentioned is we have expenses in the driver profiles and also maintenance. And as you can see, pickup nicely filled in, item information, the drop, additional info, and then the pricing with the rates. So as an example, we're going to go into my fleet driver. I'm going to select which driver I want to look at. Say John Portman again. I'm going to scroll down. Here's where we can manage again the expenses of the driver. They can either come in through the mobile app when the driver uploads them, or you can add them manually and approve and decline those expenses. But if I click the plus sign, of course I can go in, manually enter it, but why do that when AI can do the job? So we can either drag and drop or upload a picture. So this is a simple photo that they took of a receipt inside the truck's when the driver took the picture, and as you can see, filled in the date and time, the address, the total 8836, there we go, 8836, the currency, and it gives you a nice little description about it. And if you select the expense type, This can be managed in the settings of the system to add more options, but I can say, let's say this was a hotel, right? So that way I can keep track of all the expenses about the driver. Now, when it comes to AI, if you guys opt in to use it or you're already using it, you might run into some issues where it reads the document incorrectly. Not a problem. We have our own separate instance of the AI engine from OpenAI. So you just send us the example, say, hey, it read this document incorrectly, it put this field here, or it just didn't pull this field at all. Send it to us, we teach it, and thus it'll be able to read it next time you go through with it. Same thing if I open up the truck or trailer profile, go into the detail, and we have the maintenance of that truck, let's say, and I want to add a service. Same thing, we can go in, upload the, let's say, oil change invoice from my vendor, and it will read everything, put in the service details, the vendor information, and also the invoice information. Now, just to give a little preview of what we're doing next, we're also going to connect this to carrier invoices upload. So if you guys are using the brokerage package from Amous TMS, at the end of a load, it's going to send an email to the carrier saying, hey, you completed this load. Please upload the invoice, the proof of delivery, or whatever documents you set up inside the settings. And that will also have AI to read that carrier invoice, fill in all the information. You'll get notified when a new invoice comes in and if there has been any variance, and you can either approve or deny the overcharges. Next thing that we did is a pretty small feature, but it was pretty significant when it came to utilization of the driver cards. So a big issue that we had was that if we had dispatching groups, finding or searching by driver and trucks was kind of difficult. So if I type in a driver's name, for instance, John, it simply makes it a lot easier, opens up exactly where John is located, and makes it a lot easier for you guys to find this information. Again, very simple little tool and fix, but makes it a lot easier, especially when you guys get into bigger fleets. Next is if we're going to go into our order and trip list within views. As you guys know, within these screens, you can build out exactly how you want to see this information with the edit report, what the column headers are, sorting options, filters, things like that. And we could have gone in and clicked on Generate Excel. However, the Excel or this list would only show the first pickup and the last drop. But sometimes you would have multiple pickups and multiple drops in between, right? So what we allowed you to do is click on the Excel export and generate Excel with the stops. So all this will do is show all the events, all the pickups and the drops in the Excel document. So that way you guys don't have to go in and manually enter that if you have to send it to the client. So this is available both on the order and on the trip list. Next one is add dispatcher and dispatching group to the truck profile. So some of our customers have been requesting this, that not only do they manage their trucks and drivers by assigning the dispatchers to them. So I'll give a little refresher. If I go into this driver's profile, you can see we have a dispatcher assign this driver to a specific dispatcher or a dispatching group. But now we also allowed you to do that within the truck's profile as well. So if I open up the truck, you can see I have a dispatcher drop down and a dispatching group. You can run reports on this to say, okay, truck number DST 119 is assigned to this dispatcher. And also within the driver cards, instead of doing it by driver, if I go back to my driver cards, I can say dispatch by trucks, right? And then select, show me the dispatching teams for those trucks. And the last thing from release number 3.42.0, we created one new integration, which is the OrbCom trailer tracking. Exactly what we talked about in the beginning of the call, where we are able to pull in the tracking information about the trailers and allow you to do the different reports, geofencing, fleet trailer maps, things like that.